I need to pull up the show notes.
Mm-hmm.
I need to pull up Don's dissertation.
Mm. Okay.
All right, everybody, silence your damn phones.
Not me.
What's up, Jason? Mike,
I was
Mark.
I was the first one to comment.
Billy was the first one to comment. It doesn't count. You're right here.
I still had to log on and everything.
All right, fair enough.
Although
What's up,
the
Canada, the Marks are in the building.
the comment that said Mike Gonzalez is watching with you was on it already as I got on.
Nice. I think I've actually hit all the buttons this week. I'm not sure.
I don't believe you.
I wouldn't. Oh, Michael in Sedona. Nice. I've wheeled out there. Man, it's fucking gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. What's up, Knoxville, Tennessee? I grew up not far from Knoxville, Tennessee.
That's cool.
Used to drive through Knoxville, Tennessee a lot, going from home to school near Nash Vegas. Knoxville's a pretty cool town. I'm not gonna Pink Jeep Tour. Are you taking it or are you leading it? That's what I want to know.
Where are you buying it?
Oh.
There's a Jeep tour service that's Jeep rental service out some in Utah that's for sale.
Yeah.
I think.
The world famous director, Chris Dyer. He's good people. He says, "What's a Jeep?" Yeah. Dude, I have physical proof that your Porsche loving ass has been near and around my Jeep. Yeah, Rockville. What's up, Ricardo? How you doing, buddy? How's our Gladiator treating you? No, they wouldn't let you drive, huh? Yeah, they're pretty strict about that. What's up, John? Look at there. Dave. Oh, look. What's up, Neil? You were in Rockville? Oh, look at there. There's some beautiful faces.
Your oil skid pin's still out of stock.
When did we order that? This summer?
Yeah, something like that.
Is what it is.
The whole kit's in stock.
Yeah, I want the whole kit.
Yeah, there are a lot of Jeep events and stuff down in the Knox
Can't
Vegas
afford the whole
area. Some good wheeling in that immediate area as well. I learned how to wheel in upper East Tennessee
I'm looking to see if there's something else.
on the logging trails and stuff back there.
I didn't do it.
Cool. All right, so I can start putting some of these up on the as they come through. Yeah, our good buddy Neil, a friend of the pod that's on tonight, his birthday is coming up.
Happy birthday.
I believe it's Thursday soon. Christina, Ron, what's happening? Tori, Bowling Green, Kentucky. I didn't know that's where you were here from. That's awesome. I spent a lot of time there. Used to drive up there and go to the Toots in Bowling Green.
I wanted to share with you my adventure yesterday of how I kept warm, so you could show everyone if you would like.
Yeah, Ricardo, you're going to for sure.
The beautiful thing called crash wrap.
No, it's just like trash bags.
It's press and seal for a vehicle.
Is it?
It
Let's
is
see if I can.
amazing.
I don't know how I always forget how to do this sort of thing.
I don't know. No biggie. Not a big deal. I was just showing you.
I think no. That one? Yeah. Let's see. Mark, your birthday's the 23rd. Mine's the 22nd. So, we're
Mine's
right
in-
there.
Mine's in March. Oh, yeah. So that's the crash wrap stuff. It's basically press and seal on a giant scale that you put over a window when it's like
Yeah.
a wrecked vehicle. But I used it to keep warm and the rain off of me because I had no roof. And even with the
With
aluminum
that,
panels, I still would have gotten wet significantly. So this helped a lot.
Did it? Yep.
Just a little bit.
All right. Oh, I didn't hear that it burned down. I used to love that drive up there. When I went to Middle Tennessee State, down the road from Bowling Green, Kentucky. What's up, Jerry? How you doing? So I went to my daughter's field hockey banquet today. So I'm wearing a little nicer shirt.
Yeah, we just look like
and
bums
pants.
over here.
I know, right?
At least I do. Don at least has a collar on.
But I can only stand this
Jamie, new
for
collar.
so long. I'm stripping it down, people.
Okay.
I'm stripping it down.
Stripping it
Billy,
down.
you are looking more intently at me than you've ever looked at me.
All
it was
right, then.
almost intimidating. All right.
All right then.
Yeah, raising the bar. No, I'm going to pull out my official Jeep Life podcast swag if I can figure out how to do this and get the headphone cable out of it.
That's pretty nice.
Well, yeah, Dave, it's strange without a hat, isn't it? I was told that this needed to become my new favorite hat, and I think it's going to be. There we go. There we go. Now it's back to the way it's supposed to be. I'm getting harassed, by the way, and I love it. How about it? We done in the comments. You're being very quiet.
What?
You're being very
I'm
quiet.
busy shopping.
Of course you are.
We have oil pan skid problems here.
I hear you.
Billy.
I hear you.
Let's switch it up to that one.
I do have
Okay.
the hat that I'm wearing is an awesome hat, and it was donated to me by my good friend Dave at Cold Case. You might know him as Dave from Pipes, but he is he wears multiple hats. Unlike me, I can only wear one at a time. He wears multiple hats. He's good people. They are good people. And he, I did see him this week, and I was wearing my Alpine hat, which is my favorite hat.
You throw that in the garbage, give you that one? I
He
like that. Look
did.
at that. Look at what's it say on the brim there?
Cold Case something, yeah.
Hold on. Come here.
Yeah.
Cold Case Radiators. That's
Yeah.
a pretty badass hat there,
Yeah.
Dave. I like
Dude,
that.
I'm telling you, he did look at it and goes, I know it's your favorite hat, but what about this one? Do you think it could be your favorite hat?
Wow.
I took it off, took the Alpine hat off, threw it in the Jeep, threw this hat on quite
I'm
quickly.
liking it, man.
It's a good looking hat, let
I
me tell
like
you.
it. I don't think I've ever seen like the embroidery on the brim of the hat. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a nice hat.
It's
Now,
nice.
don't get me wrong, still love my Alpine hat, but this one,
This is more of a winter hat.
it's nice and warm.
I want a flat brim hat.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I watched this youngster wear his.
Yes.
and all the youngsters out there these days
Yep.
wearing their flat brim hats.
Like a real big Hoonigan one, like with the big
Right.
duck bill on the
It
front.
needs to be huge,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Yeah, for
huge.
sure.
I was doing some Hoonigan stuff this weekend.
Me too, and Pepe.
So I got like a 4.7 in it or something.
What is that? 4.3
A 4.3.
Vortag.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't do any Hoonigan stuff. I just loaded it up with tree branches and named it Pepe.
Oh no, Canada can't stick around.
What? No.
No. Oh, because it's precipitating up there, which means it's snowing, and so he has to go rescue people
Oh.
that are dumb enough to be out there.
Ah.
So
Hmm.
yeah, well, all right, Mark, go do the good work.
Yeah.
We'll miss you on here. Of course, it'll be a lame show. Everybody, go ahead and turn off. It's gonna suck because Mark's not gonna.
No Mark comments.
No Mark comments.
No Canadian comments.
We'll have to have other people jump in there and see if they can. I mean, there's with the comments. There's some sort of conversion ratio too that helps with the comedy effect of it, right?
Yeah, well,
you got
because-
U.S. comedy,
Yeah,
and then it goes to valuation and
Canada
Canadian comedy.
is just off the hook.
Yeah,
There's no FCC up there.
and of course, what they do is they apologize about everything. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I've got to go
Before
help
the-
people.
yeah,
I
right.
got to leave you. Bye. Sorry, it's snowing. Sorry. Oh, so it's rain. It's not snow. Oh, because
he's in British Columbia.
yeah,
right?
it
BC.
always rains over there. But since 6
Well,
inches
yeah, you're
of
close
rain
to the-
with
wow.
3 more to come.
Woo-hoo. Close to the
That's-
West Coast.
That's
I'm
a
assuming.
Yeah,
lot of water.
closer to
Oh.
the West Coast than we are.
Well, of course. they got some snow like Midwest, north.
It
north-
was snowing
It was snowing, yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah, not a whole lot, but I mean they got dumped.
Not a whole
on.
lot.
Did it cover the roads?
It covered the leaves.
Mm.
It was enough to count as a snow.
Yeah.
I was freezing my patootie off.
I think I'm gonna light that oil pan. Skid plate.
I want to buy a whole bunch of dumb stuff. Like an Outlast.
Told you can have. I have one.
Well, let's put it in the buggy.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, what do we think? We about ready? Have everybody start sharing out their stuff?
Yep, sure.
I have a goal: the first 550 horsepower 3.6 liter.
That's dumb.
That's gonna be fun, dumb.
That's awesome. I gotta rebuild my axles in the buggy. They need it.
Why? You think so?
Oh yeah.
Why?
I think it just they're haven't been rebuilt in a very
Those
long time.
ring and pinion gears in those, they go like forever.
Well, then I think it just needs to be like freshened up.
Like seals and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I would do. I mean, Will has in his Suburban has like 385 million miles on it.
Do you realize what I
They
do
weren't that
though,
bad.
to that thing?
Well, what he does with his Suburban is worse. When you're putting that thing under that much load with a 15,000 pound trailer,
Yeah.
I guess so.
yeah, I mean, you're just banging them around on rocks, dude. Those things they'll go. That buggy will disintegrate before those rears are gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know my tires go down.
Yeah, well, that's axle chassis. Isn't it?
They're very bent.
Yeah, I got one of this too. That's
All
on
right.
my list
Everybody,
this
go
winter.
do me a favor. Share it out to your favorite people. All right. Share it out to your least favorite people, too.
Yep. All the peoples.
All the peoples.
Drivetrain.
And then we'll get rolling in just a minute. I'm going to pull up, and before we get kicking, talk a little bit about our partners.
You got a fancy hat on, so
I do.
I don't know what to say.
I feel like I have to start there, but we haven't gotten any deals with them. But I'll talk about their partners, their sister company.
I know their sister company does some amazing stuff in the auditory.
Yeah, I love my pipes,
Yeah.
dude. Love it, love my pipes exhaust.
Yeah.
They do such a good job with us. They've got free shipping for our listeners with the code Jeep Life when you order that full system. And go out there and order that full system. They're good people. And saw them this week. I was right there waving at them.
You're pretty close.
I was real close. Our other friends, Armor Light, they've given our listeners a discount code of Jeep Life Podcast 10. I love my Armor Light every day. Except right now it's just got all kinds of leaves and shit in it. I need to pull a Billy and go out there with a water bottle and just douse it down, let it all just go right on at the drain plug. They do have a new pink drain plug that I need to
breast cancer awareness.
I need to order that.
I might do those too. I think.
Well, they look great, so I'll wear them. Put them in for certain months of the year.
Well, yeah. I just think to support.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we like to do nice things. Power tank. I got to use my power tank this week. It's pretty awesome.
I need some power tank products.
Yeah, there's a couple things I need.
I need a lot of power tank products in the shock range.
Yeah, you need that. There was something this week that I was looking at that I needed to get power tank with, but the Jeep Life Pod 15 get you 15% off of that power tank system. Okay, Tread Lightly. Good people at Tread Lightly. They're doing amazing things. We talked about one of our team members being recognized for his work through Tread Lightly. Treadlightly.org. They're giving 50%.
I saw his signs yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Passed
nice
by
signs.
Some of those signs.
They're really nice signs. Some of them walked away.
Already?
Yeah.
Really, that's messed up.
That's-
It's
sucks.
so messed up. So we've got to...
Now
out
we
there
hang
and
them
put
up
some-
on like 10 feet up trees.
I'm just going to run a live electricity to them. Go
That would
ahead.
be awesome.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Grab that thing.
We should put trail cams up.
True. But they're giving 50% off their $50 and $100 memberships. That $100 membership pays for itself.
Definitely does.
Especially if you're looking to get a new Jeep. It's the way to go. And those T-shirts, you got to get them. Rockside Engineering has discount code of Jeep Life 10 for their full systems, and I almost got the go ahead today to order one.
What?
Rockside Engineering step slide.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's coming. It's in the works.
I bet.
It's in the works.
I can see that happening.
Yeah, dude. I'm getting old and climbing up in my Jeep. It's yeah. Our good friends at Off Camber Lighting, 20% discount. Jeep Life Pod. Now, all of our partners, their links and stuff will be
amazing
in the show notes, and they are all fantastic. We don't say, yes, come be a partner with us if we don't believe in it and use it. So I love it. Yeah, Ricardo, I definitely could see that, especially on your beast. Climbing in and out of it, I'm sure. Yeah, Troy. Yep. As soon as you close in your new house, yeah, you're relocating, getting closer to home. I like it. So right now, last minute, get out there and share it. Oh, cool. Yeah, Neil. I think there's a group of us that need to come out and hang out with Tom and do a little adventures with you at some point. I'm jealous of your trip. Q, I'm going to hit the music. Well, hello there, and welcome to the Jeep Life Podcast. We're that podcast where we celebrate that Jeep life. It is all Jeeps all the time. That should be our slogan, but it's not. I love that gag and saying it. It's so much fun. But I am Terry, and I'm one of your hosts here. I'm the guy in the middle wearing that cool cold case radiator hat. And I'm joined, as always, by two of the coolest people I know who are just shopping away at their fingertips right now. On this side of me, I've got my good friend Bill. How we doing, Bill?
I'm shopping for stuff.
Shopping for stuff.
Well, I'm looking up stuff, looking at this, looking at that, kind of trying to figure some stuff out.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Finding me anything for Christmas?
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. I'll keep that up.
I can write you a list. I don't know how much
I know,
you're going
right?
to get on it.
Well, you know. And on this side of me is my good friend Don.
What's up?
What you buying me over there?
I'm looking, buddy.
As intent as both of you
Nothing
are,
until-
I better get some
Nothing
damn good
until
Christmas.
my accounts get updated. There's $0.
I know, right? Yeah, this is going to be a really long week because I don't get paid till Friday, and it's
Well, this is my Jeep parts accounts.
nothing in them.
Nothing in them.
Well, it's good to see both of you. This past weekend, I didn't get to go. I don't want to say
family ties.
I had to do stuff with my kid, begrudgingly, and I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I love my kid. Most of you met my kid. But you got to do some wheel to hill. How was that?
It was good. It was a lot of fun.
It's cold.
It was. It wasn't that bad. It was a little wet. And
But it
then it snowed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did snow. There was some action out on the Instagrams that I sent out to some people.
Yeah, I saw.
So, if you want to see it snowing up in Shamokin, PA, at AOAA, you're gonna have a great time. It was a lot of fun. We had, it was slippery. We had a couple recoveries. I almost rolled over once. Just the normal.
Oh yeah, just the normal. I love it. So were there a lot of Jeeps there, or was it pretty big?
Yeah, there was I think 180 some.
Oh, that's good.
And they already are pretty much releasing the date for next year. Well, it's going to be the same weekend next year.
Yep.
But this year it's 2 days after Veterans Day. Next year it'll be 1 day after Veterans Day.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
So.
just the way it all kind of falls.
Yeah, just how it falls out. But yeah, so they're looking to have it again next year,
Cool.
and it's going to be an even bigger event.
Yeah, they gave away so much stuff.
I know. And it's awesome that they got so many donations and everything like that, so it's freaking awesome.
Cool.
And they do such a great event.
I just want to win.
You got to show up to win, buddy.
I'm such a loser. No, but it was good. You went out with some bigger Jeeps, huh?
I brought the small tires.
Yeah, it's crazy. On your 40s, and you're the small guy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, we had a good time. Discovered this stuff called Crash Wrap. It's basically press and seal for your vehicle. So we used it for 2 rigs. I used it for my rig and one of the other guys that didn't have a roof. And it literally saved our lives.
Oh, I bet.
So it was
I
great.
bet. Keep that wind out a little bit.
It didn't do that
No,
much.
just kept the wet.
Kept the wet mostly off the top of you. I had a rain jacket on and everything like
You
that.
just have to get mostly when you're there.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear, and congratulations to those guys. Wheel to Hill is such a good event and such a good cause. So our thanks to them for doing that.
Yeah.
We love helping spread the word with that, and cool. I'm glad you got to go. I'm sorry I didn't get to go.
Missed you, man.
One of those last minute things. Yank, you're not going like
Yeah.
you originally planned.
Mm-hmm.
Tony's just email king with us, and
Yeah.
he keeps giving us so much information. And I know I forwarded it straight to you, Don, to your personal.
Yeah, I got it.
Email.
I'm looking at it now, actually.
It's so much information,
Mhm.
and he goes into detail. And we really appreciate that, and I know that he's going to be a resource for us as we go forward, and maybe doing some more features with the 4xe, and maybe we'll
right.
get to spend some time with a 4xe.
Right. I wanted to look some things up, and it slipped my mind, but I wanted to really dig into the MPGE thing and kind of tackle that a little bit tonight. But he, a couple things that he made note about that he's absolutely right, and this goes back to anyone with a hybrid vehicle, it really does become a video game.
Right,
Like
right,
it talks
right.
about how you drive it and how you use it, and you can like stretch those miles.
You're
and,
watching the gauges more than you've ever watched.
Oh,
gauges.
absolutely.
Yeah,
You
right.
know that. So I mean, that's going to play a big part of what you're getting. But it definitely is a lot more efficient than it looks on paper.
Well, I love it, and I'm with you. It is so much better than just looking at the big numbers that you
Right.
always kind of
Right,
look
right.
at. But I just want to catch something on his email. It was really kind of cool. It was very, very at the very end. He says it's been 34 years between Jeep Wrangler purchases for me.
Yeah.
That's a chunk of time.
Yeah, it is.
That's a lifetime for some.
Yep.
I mean, that's longer than somebody
Has
has been on the planet.
Yeah.
Me? What? Huh?
But
What?
your commentary, knowledge, and expertise has allowed me to acclimatize myself to the Jeep lifestyle, even after decades of absence.
Yeah.
That's really what we want.
Yeah.
That kind of encapsulated everything about why we do
Yeah.
what we do.
So before we move on, actually, I did do some digging, and there are a couple 4xEs out there on lifts with 35s and 37s now. But
I saw them too.
did you?
Yeah.
Epic? Is that the one you saw?
Yeah.
You know what I didn't think about, and they did? The fact that it's 800 pounds heavier.
Yeah. Right.
They didn't change the springs because the spring rate probably from another spring wouldn't be
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You got to use a diesel version.
Yeah.
I don't know what. No, I'm sure it has its own part number for the springs.
Oh, it definitely does, but it's probably more along the. I know the diesel
Yeah.
version kits have
Well,
a
they
different
use it-
spring rate.
They
too.
use a spacer lift, which I think was really smart at this point.
That might
with
be-
control
you're right.
arms
Mhm.
and
Yep.
But it'll be interesting watching. Now they didn't give data or numbers, but they said they had driven it for a week and not a whole lot had changed with the 35s.
Yeah. Interesting.
So yeah,
I mean, when you think about the torque that comes off of those things,
yeah. There's a ton there.
yeah, I mean, driving those 35s,
Yeah,
it's not the same as when I added 35s to my little guy.
right,
you know?
right. Now it's plus like Billy and I were talking. There's a little more. You have more rotational mass, so you probably have more regen.
Well,
And
yeah,
you're
maybe,
recouping
yeah.
more energy. You know
Maybe,
what I mean? You're
maybe.
expelling more, but you're recouping more.
Yeah, or at least on parity,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
To
right.
to
right.
equate
Right.
what you're
Right.
what you're giving up.
Yeah. Whatever
right?
you're using above and beyond, you're recouping
Yep.
more as well. You
Yep.
know. So I don't know.
So
It's
it becomes
interesting.
is it a net zero thing, or do you gain a little bit?
I'm sure you don't gain a little.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a net zero thing, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as people think either.
I
This is going to be super interesting. I got issues. I don't sleep.
I know, right? But I actually, with that, I want to finish up. Take care and hope to meet you at some point in person. Tony, we do too. We love meeting our listeners and
Yeah.
getting to know
Yep.
them.
And he's close.
Yeah, was
New York.
was it New York?
It was
Or
New
was
York.
it? Yeah, upstate
Yep.
New York,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But I really, 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 Easter Jeep Safari this past year, Jeep had Magneto
Yes.
there, which
that
was
a
fully
sole
electric.
right?
And kind of the same way it was a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. The
Mhm.
4xE was at Easter Jeep
Mhm.
Safari, and
Yeah, yeah.
as a kind of demo or
Right.
prototype. And Magneto, I think that's equally as interesting to me as a hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's some cool stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And
Coming.
they're gonna start putting that technology. Now they're like it's gonna be in the new Grand Cherokee L.
Right.
You're gonna see it a lot more. So
Right. I think it's awesome. So thanks to Tony. And hey,
keep it coming, Tony. Like, yeah, I saw that email and I'm like, all right, more stuff.
I knew as soon as I sent it over to Don, he was just
Yeah.
going to be salivating.
I will live vicariously through you for now, Tony.
Just like Tony did, send us emails. Use that info at Jeep Life Podcast. Send us emails. Stop doing what you're doing right now and go wherever you get your podcasts and hit a review for us.
Should we address this other stuff on here? Because there were questions we had.
I think we'll maybe include that in a later episode.
You want to go back to that?
Yeah,
at some
because
point?
I think We can make this episode like 6 hours long if we
Yeah.
did that, because there was so much good stuff.
Yeah.
But I think I want you to digest it,
All right.
and then maybe
we'll put in another one.
Yeah,
Okay.
if that's okay.
Yeah. Closer to the holidays.
Yeah, I like it. But send us emails. Go do a review for us right now on podcasts. It helps generate more interest in what we're doing, and the more people we generate, the better it is. And swag. We have great swag. Go to our link tree and get some swag. I need to make another order. Get some more T-shirts. This one's I've worn it every day for 2 years, and so it's time to get a new one. But get them all. Get your stuff out there. I used my Jeep Life podcast blanket today because it was cold outside, and it was good to have that. But that helps us. We don't make a lot of money off of that, but it does get our visibility out there, and we appreciate that. And my last kind of call to action, if you will, send in your favorite segments. If you've had something in this past year that's been your favorite thing to do, send that in. Call it out on an episode and roughly where it was. So I intend to put together a best of at some point so that we can have a weekend off, and
That'd be a good idea.
right, and have a best of, and maybe something will be new for a listener to listen to. So we'd appreciate that. If you have something that's your favorite, email us at info@jeeplifepodcast.com. Billy, do we have any events coming up? Do we have anything?
Christmas.
Christmas is coming up.
Mm.
I wear size double extra fat, so if anybody wants to send me a new T-shirt, it usually has 4 X's in the title, but events. I think Jeep Enthusiasts of Eastern Pennsylvania has an event next Saturday.
Yeah.
Just to hang out at a local watering hole,
Mm-hmm.
which is always a good time. Yeah, I guess that wraps it up for the first half of the show.
Yeah. And done.
And done. So we're going to get to the main topic.
Let's do it.
Dr. Don, take us to class.
Well,
I want to argue with you first.
I'm not arguing.
Don't argue
with you about
first.
this. I don't feel
Maybe
like the time.
argue a little bit later.
Yeah.
All right.
But
a track
we
bar
ha-
is part of a steering system.
But it's shush. We haven't even got to the damn topic yet. You can't argue a topic if it's not there.
I'm chopping at the bit over here,
I
man.
know you are. Hey, settle down, youngster. Dr. Don, take
I'll
us to
cue
class.
you in then.
All right.
All right, steering wheel.
You turn it.
No,
Wait.
honestly,
hold
okay,
up.
So go ahead.
Mine was cold as hell yesterday.
Well, that fucker's metal, so yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta figure
I'm
out.
I'm going to
something
get a
about
heated one.
Just wrap it with electrical tape.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. All right. So, in all honesty, we were thinking about things to come up with. One of the things we haven't talked about on the show yet is steering components. We've talked about suspension systems. We've talked about transfer. We haven't talked about transfer axles, engines. Like
So many things.
so many things. And one of the things we haven't was steering components. I know, like me personally, I got to do something at some point because I can't. I lose when I'm on blacks. I lose. It's so funny. Blues, I don't lose anything.
Yeah.
The minute I get on a little bit bigger rock, it's
Yep.
like the Jeep knows. It's like, oh,
Yeah. And I, for one, can speak to how important steering is
yeah, I bet you can.
because I haven't wheeled my current setup yet. Full suspension and
Right,
steering change.
Right,
I haven't wheeled it yet,
right.
and I'm excited to because the last time I went out and seriously wheeled, I broke my steering stabilizer and couldn't turn left or right.
Right.
So it was steering's important. You got to be able to turn your damn Jeep.
So let me ask you: do you have issues with steering fade when you're wheeling? Like when we're like on
I
blues
was.
and blacks?
Yeah,
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
were having the same issue I was.
yeah.
Yeah, so
I
we
think
gotta-
I'd already started to bend my steering stabilizer, which
Right.
because there would be times where I really had to be
Bend.
moving
Right.
before
Right.
I could
were
actually
you-
get any steering.
Were you overheating the power steering fluid? Because that's what I
Well,
was
I don't
doing.
know.
I legitimately overheat.
I don't know. I
power
never
s-
stuck my finger in it.
No, it'll
to test
boil
it.
over.
Yeah.
It'll leak.
Yeah. No,
that's-
I've never seen
so,
it. Yeah.
Okay. So,
Hey, bud.
Yeah.
I pulled that thing off. There was multiple dents in it.
Yeah,
it
no,
wasn't
no.
working to begin with.
It was. Yeah.
Let's put that out there. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Right.
It just
wasn't
had its
working to
last
begin with.
failure. That's what it was. It was his last
so
failure.
Terry and I, the problem is Terry and I hang out with people with like 37s and 40s, and we're on 35s.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, so we're like we're dragging these Jeeps over stuff we probably shouldn't be, but it's all in good fun. So.
Yeah, I can't wait to wheel in the situation it's in now.
I want my transfer case. That's my big.
Oh, you're 4-1, yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I need more gear. It is. I'm riding that clutch constantly.
Yeah.
So,
All right, tell me some.
all right. So steering
stuff.
components.
Can we categorize like on the vehicle versus like what actually links down to the axle? So there's like two categories, like what's connected to the frame.
right.
So you have your
Yeah, we can sure. You have your steering wheel, your column, intermediate or lower column, intermediate shaft or lower column, your steering box or steering gear, depending on which part of the country you're from. On the hydraulic side, you have your pump, you have your return and pressure lines, and your reservoir. Pitman arm is attached to the steering box. And then on the other side of things, we have going from the Pitman arm, we have the drag link, which goes down to the right side knuckle. We have a tie rod that ties the right side knuckle to the left side, and both of those have ball joints. Both the drag link and the tie rod have a series of ball joints on both sides. We have steering dampener, which ties from the axle to the tie rod, and we have, depending on who you ask, a track bar, which ties the axle to the frame.
So the reason why I say track bar is because so in the Cherokee, if the track bar wasn't connected, I had no steering.
No, because you lose center. You lose it. Actually,
You break the link.
Well, part of it. I mean, you still have the control arms in the front, and so the reason I tied it off on this, I agree with you. You have to have the track bar, or it's not going to steer because it's what centers the axle to the vehicle.
Right.
But it is actually part of the suspension system.
Yes.
And I cut it off because, like, oh my God, you get me going on stuff. So then, well, if I'm talking about track bars, I might as well talk about control arms. And we're talking about control arms. Let's talk about shocks and maybe Heim joints and Johnny joints.
I wasn't trying to go that far.
Well, see, that's my problem.
I'm
So that's why I
saying
cut
that
it off.
the track bar stabilizes. So it's like as your steering box moves, you need something to hold it against.
So let's table this for when we do the next episode, which is going to be when we talk about upgrades for the steering system, because that is one thing that you brought up that's very important.
Right.
Is that the geometry between the track bar and the drag link.
Correct. And then also, we're only specifically talking about the style of steering or the configuration of steering that's in our Jeeps. There are different types.
Sure, there's rack and pinions.
There's rack and pinions, which are on like standard sedans.
Full
and
hydraulic assist systems.
Right. So what I run on the buggy is a full hydro system,
Right.
so I don't use a power steering box. I use an orbital.
Right.
Which is kind of the same thing. It directs the
fluid
flow,
right and left,
flow of fluid.
Just creates more hydraulic pressure,
Right.
turn to bigger tires. Which, and again, I thought we would get into all that. You and I should sit
Okay.
down for the next episode
Cool.
and create all that. So
I just wanted to clarify for the listeners that we're talking about the specific style that's in a Jeep
JK,
Wrangler.
right.
JK from NJLs from the well, actually JLs are a little
TJ is the same, JL is the
Right.
same. So the Wrangler's going all the way back. The Grand Cherokees changed. Off the top of my head, I don't know what year. But it was, kind of a 50-50 split.
Mhm.
If you look at Jeeps across the board, but most of your hardcore Jeeps use, hardcore rock crawlers and stuff,
Right.
we're doing use this setup that we're going to talk about tonight.
Mhm.
So anyway, let's talk about these parts that are in there and what they do, so we can give our listeners a good basis and understanding for how the system works. And then we can go next week and talk about how can we improve that, because that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I got to make some improvements, especially if I'm like the end goal for my ride is going to be 37s on a suspension that's got some good travel.
Right.
So I got to make a change because it's overheating now. But anyway, obviously, sitting in the driver's seat, you got that steering wheel, and that's your input to the whole steering system. Attached to the steering wheel is the upper column, and that actually carries down through the firewall. And then there's a series of rag joints on both sides of the intermediate shaft. The intermediate shaft or lower column is just basically attaches the upper column to the steering box, and again has two rag joints on either end.
So it's so funny because we get in these Jeeps, and the steering wheel itself, it's got all these electronics on it and everything.
Yes.
And then just literally right behind the plastic panel goes to technology that's been around for 50, 60 years.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
It's almost like I expect, as soon as I rip off the plastic
like
and everything,
magic.
I want to see high tech. No, it's fucking a column
and some bearings,
and right, and then it has some joints
yeah.
and it all looks like it. Basically, it was on a farm tractor.
We cover it. We
Iowa.
cover it with like impressive looking stuff.
Yeah, but I just wanted to throw that in there because
it's true.
A lot of people don't. Their steering wheel is your input, right?
Right. Sure.
That is your. That's how you feel the wheel. That's how you feel everything. So that's your steering. For me, that's everything I need to know about my steering.
Yep.
I go left, I go right.
Yep.
And some people have heated steering, which is a little over the top for me.
Wear
damn gloves. Don't get a metal.
But I also said when I got my first JK, I'm like, I'll never do heated seats, and I got on. I'm like, I'll never be without them because I've got them on my wish list to put in the JK.
Right.
But yeah, now the intermediate shaft has an additional purpose. The intermediate shaft is also collapsible. So we started doing in the 70s, I think, like late 60s, early 70s. We started putting collapsible columns somewhere in that steering joint. And the reason for that is if the vehicle takes a hit in the front, that energy, because it's a straight shaft, gets transferred up through the steering wheel and actually will shear off the dashboard and shear off your head. Mm-hmm. So by putting that intermediate shaft, which is collapsible on there, that'll absorb the energy. The reason I say that is because they're out in the weather, it's under the hood, they do tend to seize up over years. Sometimes it's good to check those and make sure that they're not frozen, because you get in a front end collision, you really do need to depend on that. And there's 10 inches of travel in that thing, or something like that.
Yeah.
That connects to the steering box or steering gear. It's a mechanical device that consists of a worm gear and sector shaft, or also known as a ball and lead screw. There's steel balls in there on what we call the worm gear, so it almost looks like a corkscrew on the main steering shaft that goes in. And that ties into the sector shaft. And there's these steel balls between the two, and it helps to reduce friction and increase torque as well. It was one of the ways early on, before there was a lot of power steering systems, that they decreased the amount of input needed to turn the wheels.
Turn it.
Right.
So it's very low tech.
Yeah,
very low tech situation.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you're into nuts and bolts and mechanical stuff.
Yeah.
Now, like Billy said, there's some pretty sophisticated systems out there. A lot of it, like the JL, we'll get into it, but we've taken away mechanical driven pumps and we've put in electric assist steering. Some of the vehicles no longer have a mechanical link that go from the column to the power steering rack. They actually have an electric motor on it, or some actually have the electric motor assist right on the column.
Interesting.
It really is. But anyway, this is a pretty mechanical setup. Now, if you do have power steering, The hydraulic side of this, there's what we call a positive feedback valve, which is where the fluid goes into your box, and that deciphers how much fluid pressure it's going to provide to what is essentially a piston at the bottom of the box, or in the case of a JK, at the bottom of the box. And we either divert fluid to the bottom of the piston or the top of the piston, depending on if we're going right or left. And we'll talk about some stuff like PSC's big bore boxes and how that increases stuff as we go on. We've got a pitman arm that attaches to the sector shaft and the drag link. Other end connects to the steering knuckle. So you've got your pitman arm, and then you've got your drag link. And your drag link is going to go from your pitman arm down to your right knuckle, like we were talking earlier. Both ends of that are ball joints. So ball joint, my analogy for everybody is a ball joint is like your shoulder. It allows articulation multiple directions.
Right.
Because that steering suspension, like Billy was talking, articulates up and down, and it has to turn left and right. So, we need multiple directions in there. From there, we have a tie rod. Oh, I'm sorry. And then there's an adjustable sleeve on the drag link, so we can set that. The drag link sets the steer ahead for the vehicle. So that's if your steering wheel is off right and left, that's how
you center it?
Correct.
Yep.
Right. Now, the tie rod is very similar to drag link, but connects the right knuckle to the left knuckle, and also has two ball joints on the other end and an adjustable sleeve on it. That controls what we call the toe. So it's the measurement of the front of the tires. Toe in would be that the front of the tires are closer than the back of the tires when the wheels are in straight ahead position or turned, essentially. Toe out is polar opposite of that. The hydraulic side of this, we've got a power steering pump, which uses an oblong chamber and sort of a rotor in the middle with these sort of adjustable seals on it. And it just squeezes, because it's oblong, because it's an oval shape in the casting, it squeezes fluid into a smaller place, building pressure, and then we force it out the pressure side of the hose to that power valve, or not power valve. Help me out here. What did I say it was, Billy?
What?
It is the positive feedback valve, sorry. So it forces it down to the power feedback valve. We've got two lines. High pressure line delivers fluid to the steering gear, and we've got a return line which brings it back to the reservoir. Okay. And then we've got a reservoir which holds an excess of fluid. And then finally we have our steering dampener. So that's what you were missing. That's what was MIA. And essentially it's a shock that connects to one side, it connects to the axle, the other side to the tie rod. And all it does is dampen out some of that unwanted stuff, which you really felt in yours. I mean, you can contest that. I drove it, and I felt it, and I legitimately thought there might be a tire issue, and there may be, but the dampener actually took care of that.
Yeah.
So it's a necessary evil.
Well, now there is a tire issue.
Oh yeah, is that new or
we'll
get into that later.
We'll get into that offline.
Maintenance for the system. So it's funny, I dug into Chrysler's maintenance schedule. They don't recommend to service the fluid at all. Now, some manufacturers do, like Subaru does, a couple other manufacturers. Chrysler does not, but I will tell you this. I've seen it burned already. If it
smells and looks disgusting.
It really does. It gets like a brown color, and it smells like burnt gravy.
Really?
And if it does, it needs to be flushed. And, don't do a dump and fill. Flush the whole system. Ball joints. So factory ball joints are non-serviceable, meaning that they don't have grease fittings on them. It's a sealed ball joint. But you do need to occasionally check it for play. And all ball joints and all JKs, JLs, TJs, YJs, they're all zero tolerance, meaning that they can't have any play in them.
Right.
Okay? So if there's any play there at all, it needs to be replaced. And To check play on a straight axle type vehicle, what you want to do is you're going to raise the vehicle in the air. You're going to grab, the first thing you want to do is actually check the ball joints at the steering knuckles, put a pry bar underneath the tire, and lift up slightly while you're looking at the inside, and you shouldn't see any play. Now, if you really want to get technical, you really should measure it with a dial indicator. But again, there's zero tolerance, so there's the tolerance is 0.000 of an inch.
I shake it.
Yeah, you shake it. So I use a pry bar because I've had them where they've failed, but I didn't get any play when I shook it. I had to put some actual pressure on it. But then again, that wasn't a Jeep either. That was a 3/4 ton truck that's happened to me. It's usually heavier stuff. Now your steering ball joints, what I like to do is grab I like to grab, first of all, both tires. So left with my, right hand facing the vehicle, and right with my left hand. And I actually pull them together and push them apart. And that'll show you some of the play in the linkage, steering linkage. And then I do turn it right and left. I'll, again, put my hands at 9 and 3, and I turn the wheel a little bit. I'm just shaking it, seeing for play.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, you were able to do that underneath the vehicle while it's in a lift. Is that?
I can do it on a lift. It's actually, to be honest with you, when I check ball joints, I usually do it on the ground because I like to put a pry bar under it and lift up on that tire. Serpentine belts, because it's what's turning our pump. And I've seen a lot of times, it was one of the first things when Billy and I were out in a trail, my power steering was failing. I checked to make sure my serpentine belt tensioner was not frozen. They freeze. So you just grab that belt and yank it, and you should feel that tensioner kind of give a little bit, and then when you let go, return.
Right, pull back.
Right.
I wouldn't even think about that, and I'm glad you're mentioning that because serpentine belt does so much, and sometimes
really
you don't think about that being a weak link. And I'm glad you brought that up.
I've seen them where they've caused vehicles to run hot before, where they slip just enough not to turn the water pump enough, or where there's been charging issues where they don't turn quite enough to So yeah, you check that. Check the belt for it's just good maintenance. I mean, we're out miles and miles in the woods. Make sure that the belt's not glazed. Make sure it's not cracked.
Make sure you have your Old Spice too.
Yeah, in case you get some belt chirp on there. And then steering gears, a lot of the newer ones, there's nothing to adjust. Now, if you get into, I don't remember in a TJ's, I know because I did it not too long ago, YJ's, there's an adjustment. What's that? Cherokees. Was there an adjustment on your Cherokee?
Cherokees have an adjustment. I think JKs, they do, but they don't tell you to do it. There's no need to do it. You should.
Well, they don't know YJs either. There's no specification for it, but there is a thrust-bearing preload adjustment.
Yeah.
So
you only usually need to do that is if you can tell if there's a play.
Yeah, if you're going down the road and you're going from 12, if you had your hand in the center steering wheel and you're going from 12 to 11 to 1 constantly, you have a lot of play in there, and that can be taken out in some cases by adjusting the thrust bearing.
But don't go just turning that nut either.
No.
Because you can screw stuff up.
So if you go too tight, what happens is you get into binding, and you will go right, and the vehicle won't return right. The steering will just freeze all of a sudden. So there are procedures out there to do
not
that.
do this unless you are a trained professional and know what you're doing.
Yeah, don't do it.
So so that kind of wraps up how the system works. What I want to do next week for everybody, stay tuned, because next week I want to talk about some of the upgrades and why you might need them, and what some of the the choices are that you may have out there. So
I've done a lot of different types of upgrades.
You have, yeah.
I've done hydro assist. We have full hydro. I've done the bigger steering box, upgraded pumps.
Yeah.
So
there's
a lot to talk about.
There's a lot of different variations of doing stuff. So you can upgrade a pump, you can upgrade a steering box, you can upgrade. And
also, what does an upgraded pump do for you too?
Right. Well, that's what we're going to talk about. So. Like you said, the hydro assist stuff, and then there's also linkage stuff too. So I mean, you're on true. Honestly, it's quarter ton stuff on the front of a Jeep.
Yeah.
So you really should be on like a half-ton stuff or better. So that's something that I need to look at doing. You're fine. Like I really think if you're smart and you take good care of the vehicle, you're fine at 35s. Anything bigger than that, I think you need to start looking at half-ton or 3/4-ton steering components, especially if you're going to be rock crawling. You're going to be
beef
banging
it
that
up.
stuff into
I went full 1-ton steering components on it.
Yeah.
So
on the JK. No,
on the JK.
Did you? Yeah.
Well,
Perfect.
between the hydro assist and
So they say they like it falls the stuff that's on a Wrangler falls under that half-ton category.
Right.
But it's not even like if you compare it to other half-ton stuff on the market, like aftermarket stuff, it's not the same size.
No, it's it's
I
smaller and
consider
thinner.
it quarter-ton stuff. I really do.
Yeah. That's awesome, and I think it's good that we dig into steering. We haven't really spent much time with it. It's one of those things that's almost an assumption. I got my steering. I turn left, it's going to go left. But there are some things that can keep it from doing that. And thanks, Don, for bringing that
Yeah, of course.
knowledge. And I can't wait to talk about some of the upgrades that I can do.
Yeah, we got to, because you
We
and I
gotta
both need to
Spend
start
some
digging
money.
in. Yeah, I know.
I don't want to do that.
It's one of the things. It drives me nuts. I fight with it when I'm on big rocks, and it drives me nuts. Nick will be like, "Turn right, turn right." Why are you not turning right? Because I can't.
Well,
you know
you'll
what I
just
mean?
say the same thing to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I have to move first.
Yeah,
I have to
exactly.
go forward or
Yes.
backward to,
Yeah.
to be able to turn.
Yeah. I'm like hanging off the steering wheel, trying to get that damn thing to turn. Meanwhile, there's fluid shooting out the,
Yeah.
reservoir. And
Well, we appreciate that, and we'll dig into some upgrades in the future. We're gonna bring in our next battle of the brackets. Last week we introduced a brand new subject, and we're basically doing lights because we were doing headlights, and we were like,
Yeah.
that's our next
it was a
thing.
good one to do. There's a lot of options.
So
out there.
Don brought in a bracket and created it. I'm gonna see if I can get it to come up on the screen because we're doing some cool stuff. I have no idea where I put this bracket. Damn it! I just had it too. Oh, here it is. Let's see if I can just drag it in. Can I just drag it in? Let's see if it. Nope, that didn't work. All right. Well, we'll see what. But the last week we put up against. Maybe that'll do it. It did.
This
Look at that.
Mopar and Oracle. Are we going down or
We're going down.
Yeah, we're doing
Truck
down.
lights
Truck
and
light.
Quake.
Yep. So last week we put Mopar against Oracle, and Oracle pulled it out. Even though Mopar, you had some good arguments there. The new LEDs from Mopar are actually pretty decent, but they're damn expensive. And Oracle
They are.
has just
They are.
everything. And we talked a little bit about their support
They
staff.
have everything.
No, right.
except for cool off-roading.
So we
Deadline.
just let them advance, and
Yeah.
now we're going to talk truck
So
lights.
this is a interesting one, and I'm going to go truck lights.
Well, and versus Quake.
Right.
Now, Quake lighting is one of those. They've got just about everything, and it's
They
a
do.
very flashy.
Yes.
And their SEMA stuff is ridiculous. You know what I'm
Stupid.
talking? I want to hang out with those guys.
They're kind of like, they remind me of the JCR guys.
Yeah,
They kind of do. Like, they're fun to party with.
yeah. So I'm digging Oracle from a social aspect
Quake.
of it. I mean, Quake as a social aspect of it, and they've got some cool lights and something for just about everybody. So talk to me about truck lights.
So truck lights, and that's what I run on the front of mine.
All
Truck lights I dig because, well, first of all, I love the beam pattern on them. But I will tell you this. They built lights for the military.
Yeah.
And that says something to me. So they're tough. They're tough as nails. I have a secondhand set of my Jeep's built in secondhand stuff, but it truly is. Billy's over there laughing, but it really almost everything on there is secondhand. That's why I said I'd never get rid of it. It's all my friend's stuff.
So let's talk a little bit about truck light because they started in the 50s
Yes.
with the
Yep.
development of the sealed lighting,
Yes.
and that was for trucks out there and then
Commercial.
commercial
Right.
rigs,
Right. Yep.
and lighting those things. And so they've been doing that with independent ground wiring, and really kind of they developed an entire industry around trucking
Yep.
and lighting.
Yep.
Um,
And who beats their crap up harder than
than truck drivers.
Yeah.
And they're faced with all kinds of rocks and road debris, and they're on
Deer.
all the damn time. So when I go to the website and I start looking and researching everything, man, they've done it all. I don't know that there's a company on any of these
Do you
in
see?
this bracket.
So it's like introduce first DOT compliant 7-inch round, introduce world's first LED STT lamp. I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
yeah, there's nobody on
No.
this bracket
No.
that has done what they've
Right.
done for research and for development.
Right. But the most recent one, did you notice the most recent one?
No.
Acquired Rigid Industries. And that is like
Oh,
the
yeah.
pinnacle of lighting.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, there's one thing I don't like about the light that's on my Jeep is the way it looks. It's kind of funky looking. It's not round. It's sort of a squared round light. I think it was a necessary evil to get that awesome beam pattern.
Yep.
But other than that, the damn light's flawless. And I do have to add a correction in the last weeks. I said that I had Quadratec's pulse width module, anti-flash modules. They're actually truck light.
Their truck light.
Yeah. So I bought those, but they were like, here, give me $80 and I'll get you the stuff you need and give you these lights.
Right.
So that's what I did.
I am just blown away by what I researched with them, even over Quake. For me, initially, Quake was flashy, caught my eye, and it's like, I'm turning there. That's why I'm going.
Let's just give Quake an honorable mention because the fact that they dropped the rig off at SEMA with no wheels and tires on it was hilarious.
So I'm going to throw my vote in, and I coming into tonight,
Yeah.
I was throwing my weight behind, and I'm considerably hefty.
Right.
I was throwing my weight behind Quake,
Yeah.
but I think I'm going to raise the hand on truck lights.
I'm going to go truck
Tonight.
lights. Billy?
I have nothing to say. I knew it was truck light from the beginning.
All right, so truck
Truck
lights.
light,
is-
you-
I've
Unanimously.
used truck light. They are tried, true, proven. That's what it's a mom and pop brand. That's
Yep.
like you need a good set of lights. Go get truck lights. But you know what? You're gonna pay for them though.
yeah,
That's right.
It's expensive, but they're worth every penny.
you're going to get something out
Never
of it.
heard a bad review of truck
No.
light or anything of the sort. I run them on the trailer. I run them on the truck. I run them everywhere.
Yeah. I like mine. I really, really do.
Well, that says a lot.
Yeah.
So I love that these two were paired up for completely different reason,
Yeah.
and I'm not surprised about the outcome.
Yeah.
All right, so we have Truck Light advancing
That wasn't
on, and they
hard.
will be battling with Oracle.
Ooh,
That
that one is tough though.
it's going to be tough, and I definitely want us to do a little bit of research there. So next week it'll be Quadratec versus Amazon.
But here's the shit of it. Amazon sells more LED lights than I found the data somewhere than
Yeah.
anybody else by like tenfold.
Right, and but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to go forward in that bracket.
No, hell no. But anyway, I mean,
So join us next
Yeah.
week as Quadratec takes on Amazon.
so let me give you the analogy to that, right? Real quick.
Yeah.
My son wrestles.
Oh,
and
you
he's
got,
not.
you got to save that for next week, though.
All right, I'll save it
Save it
for
for
next
next week.
I got you.
But anyway, congratulations to Truck Light for moving on in our bracket, and I love that we've added this segment.
This is one of my favorite things to do.
It's the dumbest thing in the world, but I love it. I
agreed.
love it. Billy, where can people find us?
Well, if you're listening, you've already found us.
That's
So
true.
I don't want you to go find us. Well, first, I want you to head over to our YouTube page, hit that like and subscribe button, search Jeep Life Podcast. It's super simple, super easy. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe, and you're going to get entered into our next giveaway for when we hit 750 subscribers on YouTube. We're going to be giving away another prize pack, so make sure you subscribe there, and also just make sure you tell all your friends about us. Jeep Life Podcast. Tell all your Jeep friends. We have a Linktree, linktr.ee/Jeep Life Podcast, and that's going to get you hooked up with all the awesome links. Our listener voicemail number, which, have we gotten one lately, Terry?
We have not got one lately.
I know,
and
we
it's-
need somebody to call in. So I don't know that number off the top of the head. Go to the show notes. Super easy, super simple. All of your needed websites are in the show notes as well. Best Top, the Quadratech, Rockslide Engineering, Pipes, Cold Case, everyone, Off-Camera Lighting, all of our great partners, all the websites are in our show notes. So go right there and check it out.
I love it. So go check it out. Thanks to everybody for hanging out with us live. It's awesome when people hang out with us live. We get to meet new people. And Don, thanks for that wonderful steering.
Yeah.
I love it. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, next week, Billy and I will put the stuff together for
Oh, God.
what upgrades.
Oh, here we go.
Here
Strap
it
on,
is.
folks. Here we go.
We gotta do Christmas lists soon too.
It's got to come soon,
That-
real soon.
I say around Black Friday,
Yeah,
which
well,
is real soon.
it's real soon.
Yeah.
Let's not lie about it. It's
Yeah.
real soon.
I
But
can,
anyway-
I can print it off for you right now if you want it.
For Bill, Don, and myself, here's a big Jeep wave to you, everybody. Have a good night. Cool. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it.
Are we actually going to do Christmas lists?
I think
We
we
have
should.
to,
It's
yeah.
tradition.
I mean,
man.
mine's topping $7,500 so far.
I don't know what mine's at. It can't. Mine's not at $7,500. Mine's actually pretty slim right now.
Well,
Because
Um,
it's so. I mean, I after this Christmas list, it's big dollar purchases
yeah.
for me.
Well,
Are you
that's just
thinking
it. I can't
PSC?
put.
No, I mean, like I got to put a 44 in the front of the Jeep.
Well, that's what
and-
I'm at.
yeah.
I'm at a $7,500 bat
Right.
bill, and it's 44 in the front, new knuckles, new. I'm reusing a lot of the stuff, but
Yeah.
like new knuckles, new wheel bearings, the axle.
Yep.
See you, Mike. See you, Jason. See you, Dave. Good to see you this week.
I think it's just buy something that's already built up.
Oh, I am. I'm
Not built up, but I'm like saying with gears and
Yeah.
locker.
No,
and
I'm
it's
in.
already
And then I'm going to
done.
rebuild my back one
That's-
again.
I literally have that in the cart as well. Rear axle shafts,
Yep.
and just to
Yep.
and do a
But
rebuild kit.
I'm not ready for that quite yet. Like I have some other things. I got to make some adjustments and changes to suspension, some additions. I want to get that 4-to-1 in before I do that. Some flat fenders on it. Some
I'm
sort
thinking a
or
long
another.
arm kit.
All right, everybody. Thanks a bunch. Have a good night.